in Judges chapter 2, verse 6. After Joshua had dismissed the Israelites, they went to take possession of the land, to each their own inheritance. The people served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and of the elders who outlived him, and who had seen all the great things the Lord had done for Israel. Joshua, son of Nun. What an interesting name, son of Nun, N-U-N. The servant of the Lord died at the age of 110, and they buried him in the land of his inheritance at Timnath-Heres in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gash. After the whole generation had gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. I think this is an important, notable part right here to note. We are in Judges chapter 2, verse 10. After that whole generation had been gathered to their ancestors, another generation grew up who knew neither the Lord nor what he had done for Israel. Then the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord and served the Baals. They first Baals. Well, that's interesting. We're in Judges, and there's Baals, B-A-A-L-S. And backwards, it's S-L-A-A-B, which is Slob. They forsook the Lord, the God of their ancestors, who had brought them out of Egypt. They followed and worshipped various gods of the people around them. They aroused the Lord's anger because they forsook him and served Baal and the Ashtoreths. In his anger against Israel, the Lord gave them into the hand of raiders who plundered them. He sold them into the hands of their enemies. This is important. This verse right here, verse 14, Judges chapter 2. In his anger against Israel, the Lord gave them into the hands of raiders who plundered them. He sold them into the hands of their enemies all around, whom they were no longer able to resist. So this is talking about they sold the people. This is BC, before Christ. They were selling people. They were human trafficking people. It's in the Bible. Now, I'm not sure how churches get away with preaching this to children, because if it's not family friendly on YouTube, then it should not be family friendly in church. It should not be family friendly in church, but yet preachers have been preaching this to children. I had to learn this stuff when I was a child. So it should be family friendly on YouTube. And we should be able to monetize it because, and churches should actually have to pay their taxes and pay their fair share. Does anyone have anything to say? Any questions they would like to contribute? No, I don't want community moderation. I was trying to get my comments so I could see all comments, all messages, if there's any. Okay, so we're going to continue on reading here. In his anger against Israel, the Lord gave them into the hands of raiders who plundered them. He sold them into the hands of their enemies all around the world, whom they were no longer able to resist. Whenever Israel went out to fight, the hands of the Lord was against them to defeat them, just as he had sworn to them. They were in great distress. Now, Israel is the dictator in the Middle East. Is that so hard to hear? The Bible is saying Israel is the dictator. Hello, Rifat Batul. I am not a bro, and I am not your bro, Rifat. Do not call me bro. I'm not a bro. I'm tired of hearing about bro. It's ridiculous. I'm not interested in bro. And I'm not your bro. There's just a lot of things. You young people are very disrespectful on the internet, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not your sis either. Cis is ridiculous. That has something to do with your stupid gender stuff. I'm not interested in that. We have two genders, male and female. I'm not interested in your other junk that you're doing, or your pronouns or whatever. I mean, pronouns are something I can talk about pronouns and teach it with English language, but I'm not really interested in teaching for free to migrants, you know, who, if they want to learn English, they can go back to their own country and learn English. I'm not interested in migrants and people who have, they don't have my best interest at heart. That's all I've seen. Um, well, I'm not interested in bro and sis and all that stupid. Or what's the other one you guys use? My guy. I don't want to hear that either. I'm not a guy. I'm a female. And you guys have been very disrespectful. You kids that are on the internet, you're very disrespectful and mean. And then that you take that out into real life. No wonder teachers don't want to teach you. You know, if you're this mean to those of us on the internet, of course you're mean to your public school teacher, and you're mean to your Sunday school teachers. I don't care how old you are. You're going to end up in prison. You know what? That's where you should go. You should go to juvie. You need to have a scared straight program or something because you're being a jerk. Uh, it seems like you don't know how to act. You know, women are not a bro. And that's all you kids do in the video games. You pretend to be adults. You're not adults. And then you take it out onto the internet. And a lot of you are paid. You're in the networks and you're paid. You're paid by someone, be that someone outside of the United States. And I don't think kids in other countries should be paid money, American money of American companies to do stuff on the internet. That's incentivizing corruption. Actually, it's human trafficking too. You know, kids influencing the direction of the internet. And kids do not look out for the best interest of adults. I mean, so if you get money to your network, then you're just getting money to your network. I don't even, a lot of kids don't even say that they get the money. And you know what else? Do you guys remember the Duggars from 19 Kids and Counting? Are you familiar with those kids? They were religious kids. 19 Kids and Counting out of Arkansas. And their dad did not pay them money. So they were on TV and their dad didn't pay them any money at all. Now, what their dad did once they got married, they got put into houses where, I don't know how that worked. They were houses that he was supposed to be renting to people, but he couldn't rent them out for some reason. There was not enough people to actually rent the houses, so he stuck his kids in the houses. So it was kind of like his kids then ended up as a tax write-off for him because he was doing charity. And so he stuck his married kids in that houses and property that he owned. And then I guess the family business got a tax break, but the kids didn't get anything. And even after they got married, they didn't get anything. And then Jim Bob Duggar actually wasn't paying any of the kids an hourly wage or anything like that, even though he offered one of the son-in-laws. He said he could pay him $10 an hour, and that was all he could pay. And then the other son, he ended up he ended up with the Ashley Madison thing and some other things that had gone on. And but you know why? Josh Duggar was in Washington, D.C. being anti-American. That's what he was doing. He was being anti-American, using religion for discrimination. That's what he was doing. So he was lobbying against the American public. So church has always been divisive, and that's what the religious movements in some cases, many cases are, is being anti-American against the American public because they want things their way. And they don't want to fight for rights. So basically they say they want to take a hands-off approach up until they need something from the government. And then they will send their son through TV, like Josh Duggar went to Washington, and he was a lobbyist for a long time, but he was anti-American. I'm for all Americans, people who are citizens. There's nothing that I can do, and I'm not going to, for people who are foreigners. All the thing I'm going to say is get out of the country. Self-deport and get the hell on out of the country. I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Because there's nothing that we can do for you. I don't even have benefits for myself. And so I don't know who in their right mind would anticipate that we would have benefits for foreigners and illegal migrants to the United States when we don't even have benefits for ourselves. I mean, you guys have not rationalized that yet for any of us with whatever it is that you're doing, and I'm not interested. I'm not interested in getting married to someone who's a foreigner. I'm just not. If I even ever get married again, it's not going to happen. I mean, this is how much your movement has changed me and caused harm to me and my thinking. You have caused harm. The migrants coming to the United States have caused harm to me emotionally. You have done emotional damage to the United States. You're a corrupt organization and an entity. So whoever's paying for this, what was it, that solar guy maybe? I don't know. If he was doing it, deport him. Get the hell rid of him, because putting money into these words does absolutely nothing for us. So now I'm going to continue on reading about the Bible, because I can read about the Bible, and I don't care what you guys call me about the Bible, being a Bible thumper or whatever, because the truth is I don't believe in religion. I can read the Bible as a book and separate it from religion and not follow religion. So, and I cannot be a Christian as well, and I'm not. I don't believe in Christianity. Because it's part of the corruption, and there's no foundation even for Christianity. Everybody and their brother is on YouTube right now asking for money and donations in the name of God. Hello, Faith Bustamante. Whenever Israel ran out to fight, the hand of the Lord was against them to defeat them, just as he had sworn to them. There was great distress. Then the Lord raised up judges. Do you guys have any questions that you would like to ask? I mean, I'm tired of getting redirected outside of the United States to people who don't give a flying fuck about America. What are you doing? I'm reading about the Bible. Yet they would not listen to their judges, but prostituted them to other gods and worshipped them. They quickly turned from the ways of their ancestors who had been obedient to the Lord's commands. Whenever the Lord raised up a judge for them, he was with the judge and saved them out of the hands of their enemies as long as the judge lived. For the Lord relented because of their groaning under those who oppressed and afflicted them. But when the judge died, the people returned to the ways of even more corrupt than those of their ancestors, following other gods and serving and worshiping them. They refused to give up their evil practices and stubborn ways. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and said, because of this nation has violated the covenant I ordained for their ancestors and has not listened to me, I will no longer drive out before any of them of the nations Joshua left when he died. I used them to test Israel to see whether they will keep the way of the Lord and walk in it as ancestors did. The Lord had allowed those nations to remain. He did not drive them out at once, but gave them to the hands of Joshua. Have I done slime? I did a slime video the other day. I did a slime with the pterodactyl. You didn't see the pterodactyl video? I did the slime with the pterodactyl video. Did you miss it? Because I did a slime with the pterodactyl video the other day, and it got a total of 14 views. That was all it got, was 14 views. So it didn't actually get any views. Well, you weren't. I mean, why weren't you subscribed to my channel? If you're that interested in slime, you should be subscribed to my channel. You should be subscribed to my channel. You should have all the notifications on if you're that interested in whether I did that. Otherwise, you're just spamming. When you're just talking about slime in my live chat, you're just spamming. That's all you're doing. Who is paying you to do this? That's what I'd like to know. Who's paying you to come into the live stream to ask me if I did slime? Because the only thing that does is artificially inflate someone else, which is Disney. You're subscribed to me? Okay. So you should be watching my videos. You should be watching all of them. These are the nations the Lord left to test for those Israelites who had no experience any of the wars in Canaan. He did this only to teach warfare to the descendants of the Israelites who had not previous battle experience. Oh, I got a notification, but I need to watch it. Well, I mean, you don't understand that you're supposed to watch the video from the notification? I mean, it's not hard for everyone else. Why is it hard for you? Oh, well, if you don't have time for me, I don't have time for you either. So, I mean, if you're just a spammer and that's all you are, I mean, you're here just to spam. That's what I see. You're here just to spam and push your own agenda instead of actually contributing to a real conversation. Are you some child from the Middle East or something like that? Or you're from some studio network or something? Is that what you're doing? I mean, I see how you guys work. I see how the networks work. I mean, because you deploy out kids of the families, kids of Disney, and kids of the rapper groups, because the rapper groups have some big ties to Disney and all the money people and everything like that. So you get your kids working on this stuff and you teach them how to do it from the beginning of the internet, because a lot of them were born into the internet era now. And now they're adults. They know how it works, and then they want to spam out the same garbage. And it only benefits other people. It doesn't benefit us. It doesn't benefit the rest of us who don't have any representation. And so if that's what your motive is that you should go watch Disney videos. If that's your motive, go watch Disney Plus. If that's your motive. Why are you on YouTube? Disney Plus has their own app. Disney has their own stuff. Why are you on YouTube? If you want to push out things that, if you're not interested in what, and you didn't have time, then, I mean, like, because there's a motivation with live streams right now, which people send other people. You know, it's like I get one person. The rest of them get hundreds and hundreds of people into their chats. Okay, you're going to watch it after this, okay? I have a lot of videos you can watch. You can go to my main channel page and watch videos. I mean, I don't think I should have to tell you that you can watch videos on my page. You can just go watch them. The 5 rulers of the Philistines, all the Canaanites and the Sidonians and the Hivites living in the Lebanon mountain from Baal Hermon to Lebo Hamath. They were left to test the Israelites to see what they would obey the Lord's commands, which he had given their ancestors through Moses. The Israelites live among the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites. Well, I can tell it's like one person just switching accounts. That's all you guys are doing. I see that and how it works. It's just one person switching accounts. That's how the networks work. And they do this garbage. And so they pretend that they care about independent YouTubers, which they don't. You know, so if you don't care about me, I don't care about you. I'm not interested. You know, because two can play that game. And you know what? I hope the banks do foreclose on Disney properties on YouTube. I hope that happens. I hope a bunch of the music channels get foreclosed on by banks. And then they're just going to sit there and be dead channels They might surface from time to time, but the banks are going to have a whole bunch of property on YouTube that they're not going to know what to do with. Um, because I don't like Hollywood on YouTube or Google because they have ulterior motives, to force their agenda onto the American public, and it's not a good agenda that they're forcing. They just want people to watch their garbage all the time, and it's like, I'm going to call it garbage. Garbage is garbage. If they're going to be shitty to us, I'm going to be shitty right back to them. You know, I mean, they don't even own their stuff. Actually, if you look at it like that, Hollywood does not even own their stuff. Someone else owns it because they were hired to do a job. And so they don't even own it. One of their network people owns it. So the networks are just going to have a whole bunch of stuff. Nobody's really going to be interested in even doing anything anymore because um, because they treat them so poorly. I mean, when they figure out they can do stuff by themselves and not make any money. So then the messages of the banks and the money people, they're just going to be, and the advertisers, they're just going to be twiddling around with their thumb up their ass and trying to figure out how to reach people with their perverted messages. And so, I mean, and that's all they are, is perverted messages, because they want to control the trends and cycles of things. That's what I see. Um, don't you have a clock? You should be able to know what time it is. You should look that up yourself. If you don't know what time it is, you should be able to look that up yourself. They were left to test the Israelites to see whether they would obey the Lord's commands, which he had given their ancestors through Moses. The Israelites lived among the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Pezerites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. What? There's a lot of ites in the Bible. I don't have a place. I do not have a place, so I don't know what time it is. They took their daughters in marriage and gave their own daughters to their sons and served their gods. Oh my gosh, they were married to their daughters. Right here, we are in chapter 2 of Judges, chapter 3 of Judges, verse 5. It says the Israelites lived among the Canaanites. Okay, verse 6. They took their daughters in marriage and gave their own daughters to their sons and served their gods. So they actually were marrying their own daughters. Othniel, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They forgot the Lord, their God, and served the Baals at the Asherahs. Oh, you're going to Albuquerque, New Mexico? That's where you're headed to, is Albuquerque? The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They forgot the Lord their God and served the Baals of the Asherahs. The anger of the Lord burned against Israel, so that he sold them into the hands of Cushan. Oh, Cush! Rishthaim, king of Aram Naraim, to whom the Israelites were subject for 8 years. But when they cried out to the Lord, he raised up for them to deliver Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, who saved them. The Spirit of the Lord came on him. To that he became Israel's judge and went to war. The Lord gave Cushan Rishthaim, king of Aram, to the hands of Othniel, who overpowered him. So the land had peace for 40 years until Othniel, son of Kenaz, died. So they had peace. So it sounds like they had a dictator or a leadership where they had peace, and then they probably got a crappy person in as a leader again. Ehud, again the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and because they did this evil, the Lord gave Eglon, king of Moab, power over Israel. Getting the Amalekites. I mean, why? I mean, you could be writing in here about Benjamin Netanyahu. Never mind. They said, I'm going at 1. You are going to Albuquerque at 1 o'clock. Um, Getting the Ammonites and the Amalekites to join them, Eglon came and attacked Israel, and they took possession of the city of palms. The Israelites were subject to Eglon, king of Moab, for 18 years. Again, the Israelites cried out to the Lord, and he gave them a deliverer, Ehud, a left-handed man, the son of Gera and Benjamite. The Israelites sent him with tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now Ehud had made a double-edged sword about a cubit long. Oh, a cubit, that's an interesting word, which he strapped on his right thigh under his clothing. He presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab, who was a very fat man. That's After Ehud had presented the tribute, he sent on their way those who had carried it. But on reaching the stone images of Gilgal, he himself went back to Eglon and said, Your Majesty, I have a secret message for you. The king said to his attendants, Leave us. And they all left. Ehud then approached him while he was sitting alone in the upper room of his palace. And he said, I have a message from God for you. As the king rose from his seat, Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Oh my gosh. This is in Judges chapter 3, verse 21. Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the sword from his right thigh, and plunged it into the king's belly. Even the handle sank in after the blade, and the bowels discharged. Ehud did not pull the sword out, and the fat closed in over it. Then Ehud went out to the porch. He shut the doors of the upper room behind him and locked them. After he had gone, the servants came and found the doors of the upper room locked. They said, He must be relieving himself in the inner room of the palace. They waited to the point of embarrassment. But when he did not open the doors of his room, they took the key and unlocked them. There they saw their lord had fallen to the floor dead. While they waited, Ehud got away. He passed by the stone's images and escaped Sirith. When he arrived there, he blew a trumpet in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went down with him from the hills, with him leading them. Follow me, he ordered, for the Lord has given Moab, your enemy, into the hands. So they followed him down and took possession of all fords of the Jordan. Now, fords, it's spelled F-O-R-D-S. I'm wondering if it's fjords, like Norwegian fjords, which is mountains, where kind of like little canyons that you sail into. They're kind of like fingers. The fjords are like fingers that you would sail into. It's a really kind of an interesting, it looks like it's land that's been pushed up maybe quickly, possibly, I'm not sure. Or if it's leftovers, it's probably from the glaciers, I would say. The fjords of the Jordan and led to Moab. They allowed no one to cross over. At that time, they struck down about 10,000 Moabites, all vigorous and strong. Not one escaped. That day Moab was made subject to Israel, and the land had a peace for 80 years. For 80 years Israel had peace, until they got a bad leader in again. Shamgar. After Ehud came Shamgar, son of Anath, who struck down 600 Philistines with an ox goad. He too saved Israel. Okay, so now I need to go into Judges 4. Let's see here. Judges chapter 4. This one is titled Deborah. Now, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and watch all my other videos. Again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, now that Ehud was dead. So the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin king Canaan, who resigned in Hazor. Sisera, the commander of his army, was based in Harosheth Hagoyim because he had 900 chariots filled with iron and had cruelly oppressed the Israelites for 20 years. They cried to the Lord for help. Oh, the Israelites were oppressed for a while. Now Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at that time. There was a female leader of Israel? I have never heard of such a thing. But the Bible says that Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at the time. She held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the Israelites went up to her to have their disputes decided. She sent for Barak, son of Abinoam, from Kedesh in Naphtali, and said to him, Naphtali, King Naphtali, I think, is what that is, and Barak, son of Abinoam, and said to him, the Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go take with you 10,000 men of Naphtali and Zebulun, and lead them up to Mount Tabor. That's interesting. I never knew that Barack was mentioned in the Bible, and to think that we had a president, Barack Obama, and Barack is mentioned in the Bible. I will lead Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops to Kishon River, and give him into your hands. Barak said to her, if you go with me, I will go, but if you don't go with me, I won't go. Certainly I will go with you, said Deborah, but because of the course you're taking, the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. So Deborah went with Barak to Kadesh. There Barak summoned Zebulun to Naphtali, and 10,000 men went under his command. Deborah also went with him. Now Heber and Kenite had left the other Kenites, the descendants of Oab, Moses' brother-in-law, and pitched his tent by the great tree of Zananim near Kedesh. When they told Sisera that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera summoned from Harosheth Hagoyim to the Kishon River all his men and 900 chariots filled with iron. Then Deborah said to Barak, go. This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone with you? So Barak went down Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him. As Barak advanced, the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and army by sword, and Sisera got down from his chariot and fled on foot. Barak pursued the chariots and army as fast as Harosheth Hagoyim, and all Sisera's troops fell by the sword. Not a man was left. So there's war right there. Barak pursued the chariots and caused war, a lot of war, and people died. Sisera, meanwhile, fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber and Kenite, because there was an alliance between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the family of Heber and Kenite. Jael went out to meet Jael is spelled Gael, went out to meet Sisera and said to him, come, my lord, come right in, don't be afraid. So he entered her tent, and she covered him with a blanket. I'm thirsty, he said, please give me some water. She opened a skin of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him up. Stand in the doorway of the tent, he told her. If someone comes by and asks you, is there anyone there, say no. But Jael, Heber's wife, picked up a tent peg and a hammer and went quietly to him while he lay fast asleep. Exhausted, she drove the peg through his temple into the ground, and he died. So Jael, Heber's wife, killed him. Just then Barak came by in pursuit of Sisera, and Jael went out to meet him. Come, she said, I will show you the man you're looking for. So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera with a tent peg through his temple, dead. On that day, God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, before the Israelites, and the hand of the Israelites pressed harder and harder against Jabin, king of Canaan, until they destroyed him. Okay, so we are going to move on to chapter 5, the Song of Deborah. On that day, Deborah and Barak, son of Abinoam, sang this song. When the prince of Israel take the lead, when the people willingly offer themselves, praise the Lord. Hear this, you kings, listen, you rulers. I I will sing to the Lord. I will praise the Lord, the God of Israel, in song. When you, Lord, went out from Seir, when you marched from the land of Edom, the earth shook, the heavens poured, the clouds poured down water, the mountains quaked before the Lord, the one of Sinai before Lord, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were abandoned. Travelers took the winding path. Now we've heard that, the winding path, that a lot of times a society will have, there's a path that is very, very worn, and sometimes society will create a different path, that is not as worn, that's not as visible to see. And it's also been said that in geographical, with the mapping that we can see on the maps that we have on the internet, that we can see the buffalo paths that they took, that they are still there in the ground. We can see them from the satellite views on the maps, that they're still there. That when the buffaloes were running wild through the United States and there was big herds of them, now the herd is smaller than what it used to be. I've always wondered what happened to the chimpanzees and monkeys, even though that people will say, oh, there was never any chimpanzees and monkeys in the United States. Well, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that at all. They've all been captured, and probably to the point of eradicating them out of our country, because we do have a lot of people living here. And so man is not living in harmony with nature. But it would be kind of hard to live if you have a great big silverback chimpanzee that's coming up to your door knocking because one day you throw out some scraps of food, and then the big silverback, who is 600 pounds or 1,000 pounds, say he just decides to bust your window out because he wants in your house because he knows you have food in there. And so I don't know how to reconcile that related to wildlife in countries where there's animals, where the animals should be afraid of humans, but yet humans live in conjunction with animals in the wild, which is a fact, but then the animals become reliant on humans to give them food because they have given them food. I mean, I've seen signs that have said, do not feed the wild animals, do not feed the buffaloes, do not feed the animals, but yet there's sanctuary farms in places that allow people to feed animals. So there can be some mixed context and confusion when you have animal farms in Texas, and the animal farms are before COVID, the sanctuary farms had people paying to drive through their sanctuary farms to feed wild animals, farm animals. And so then kids are learning, oh, it's okay to feed animals. But then the kids might not even watch something that's on TV that says, oh, there's a law that says do not feed the wild animals. Well, I mean, it could be better said, it's recommended and best not to feed the wild animals because of the fact they can attack. So if they smell something or smell something that sounds like food, or you become food, you're on the human food chain. Kind of like when sharks in the ocean actually see a surfboard and they think it's a dolphin and they bite into it, and then they eat the human. I think they do eat the humans. And they probably eat, I mean, why wouldn't they eat the human? But somebody puts on TV that the sharks spit out the humans because they don't taste good. Is that a joke? I'm wondering, is that a joke? Because I think that there's fish in the ocean who will eat humans and eat everything. The scavengers, like catfish and bottom feeding fish, maybe even whales, or the human eventually dissolves and turns into plankton, and then the fish eat that as plankton when they open their mouth up, and they get a great big gulp into their mouth of plankton as they're eating the human. And you can't even see the human anymore because the particles of plankton is so small. Now, villagers in Israel would not fight. They held back until I, Deborah, arose, until I arose, a mother in Israel. God chose new leaders when war came to the city gates, but not a shield or a spear was seen among 40,000 in Israel. My heart is with Israel's princess, with the willing volunteers among the people. Praise the Lord. You who ride on white donkeys, sitting on your saddle blankets, and who walk along the roads. Now, wait a minute here. And we are in, what am I in? Judges chapter 5, verse 10. You who ride on white donkeys, sitting on your saddle blankets, and who walk along the roadside. Now, what's that about? Sitting on your saddle blankets. I mean, a lot of people do that, the saddle blankets, and so they have a blanket on a donkey. And this is BC, before Christ was born, so they had to have had saddles back then. Consider the voice of the singers at the watering places. They recite the victories of the Lord, the victories of his villagers in Israel. Now, I was thinking too, in the UK, they reference my Lord for kings and leaders. So the Lord is not actually this great big giant person who's larger than the planet Earth. There's just not there could be in the ocean, in the ocean, we have whales that are larger than human beings. So it is easy to believe that there is wildlife larger than human beings. I have never seen a human larger than a human being. I mean, I've never seen a human that's the size of a whale. If I see a human that's the size of a whale, I'm going to wonder what the heck is going on there. So the earth water and the ocean can sustain creatures that are very, very large. But apparently outside of the ocean, it's hard for wildlife to sustain creatures that are much larger than humans, because what I'm kind of seeing is this common denominator of animals that are very vicious tend to get eradicated and extinct due to hunting and poaching, where other animals that are more docile, they do tend to stick around a little bit longer, but when they don't have anybody to hang out with or procreate with, eventually they just die off. When the people of the Lord went down to the city gates, wake up, Deborah, wake up, break out in song, arise, Barak, take captive your captives, son of Abinoam. The remnant of the nobles came down. The people of the Lord came down to me against the mighty. Some came from Ephraim, whose roots were in Amalek. Benjamin was with people who followed you. From Machir, captains came down. From Zebulun, those who bear a commander's staff. The princess of Issachar. Actually, the name Isaac is in Issachar, where Deborah, yet Issachar was Barak, sent under his command unto the valley. In the districts of Reuben, there was much searching of his heart. Oh my gosh, Reuben just made me so hungry for a Reuben sandwich. And I hear Reuben in the Bible. It's got to be product placement for a Reuben sandwich. Reuben sandwiches are on rye bread, and then you put on some corned beef and some Swiss cheese and sauerkraut. Oh my gosh, they are so good. And then what you do is you slather on some butter on both sides, and then you put it in the pan and you cook it. They are so good. You use rye bread. Rye bread is the best. Now, you can make a Reuben sandwich using any bread, but rye bread, there's something about the taste of the rye bread, the sauerkraut, and the corned beef together. Because the rye bread has kind of like a dill pickle, almost like a dill pickle flavor. It is so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry for a Reuben sandwich. Why did you stay among the sheep pens to hear the whistling for the flock? There's that word pen, P-E-N, pen. Oh, that's a good word. That's a good grammar word to talk about is pens. The sheep pen and a pen. In the district of Reuben, there was much searching of heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan. And Dan, why did he linger by the ships? Ashar remained on the coast and stayed in his coves. The people of Zebulun risked their very lives. So did Naphtali on the terraced fields. Oh, terraced fields. Now, the terraced fields. Now, the terraced fields, if you look at a lot of in China and in other places, maybe in Mexico, they had the terraced fields that are going up the sides of what they called were the Mayan temples. And so they actually planted on those great big pyramids. And they also did terracing on mountainsides too. Now the mountainsides, maybe they didn't know back then that it was dangerous, which that's what I'm seeing now from Myron Cook on YouTube, that a lot of places are dangerous for farming and things like that. I mean, it would put the farmer's life at risk because the mountainsides are shifting and sliding. That's what I've learned from Myron Cook, that the mountainsides are always shifting and sliding. So it's kind of like the same shifting and sliding that glaciers do. So the glaciers will shift and slide in a river. The mountains in that area that are permafrost, that have turned into dirt and piled up high, they're doing the same thing. They're shifting, sliding, and flowing it down. So when the earth rises up higher and higher and higher with the mountains, then it shifts and slides down. So there's something that's pushing the mountains up, which is the continental plates. And so there's this like a rotation of the continental plates. I mean, that's just my observation and my opinion. There's a rotation of the continental plates and the water, and things kind of twist and turn and get churned up again. And then, and someone said something to me a few years ago related to sins being washed away within the ocean, which means that all of the land is churned up and crushed up underneath the pressure of the crushing of the continental plates going below the ocean. So this means when you have burials, that when things come back up in thousands and thousands to millions of years, I don't know how long the process takes, there's going to be no existence of anything left. So when it gets into the fire pit, which is the molten lava, nothing is going to exist. Nobody's artwork is going to exist. Nobody's cars are going to exist. Absolutely nothing is going to exist because it goes into the ocean, gets ground down. We see that with rocks, sand, pebble, quartz, crystals. It gets ground down into sand. And then it gets churned and mixed in with the water. That's everything on Earth. It's like Earth is a great big giant rock tumbler, and it just crushes everything down, pulverizes it into nothing. Then it pushes it through this inferno of volcanoes and just melts everything down. So there's absolutely nothing left that's recognizable. So even though you see fossils in the mountains, they just haven't gone through the crushing down process yet. So they're in the part that gets pushed up out of the ocean, and it gets pushed up. So it's part of the life cycle, even though the organism that is now a mineral, it's still visible. It's still part of the life cycle. And, who knows how many billions of years it's going to be before it gets pulverized and pulled down back into the ocean and just completely pulverized into nothing. But that's what's going to happen. I mean, that's just my opinion from putting these things together and just rationalizing something into something that makes sense. This is what makes sense to me. Rock tumblers, yes, are on a small scale. The ocean, the earth is on a great grand scale. Kings came, they fought, the kings of Canaan fought. At Tanakh, by the waters of Megiddo, they took no plunder of silver. From the heavens the stars fought. That's an interesting thought there. The heavens and the stars fought. That's kind of like light and darkness fight. Light fights against darkness, darkness fights against light. They chase each other. They're on a chase all the time, but they never catch each other. I mean, in the morning we have light, at night we have darkness, and they're always chasing each other. From the heavens the stars fought. From their courses they fought against Sisera. The river Kishon swept them away. The age-old river of river Kishon, march on, my soul, be strong. Then thundered the horse's hoofs. Galloping, galloping go his mighty steeds. Curse Meroz, said the angel of the Lord. Curse its people bitterly, because they did not come to help the Lord, against the mighty. Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. Most blessed of tent-dwelling women. He asked for water. She gave him milk. In a bowl fit for nobles, she brought him curdled milk. This is interesting. She was mad at him. He asked for water. She gave him milk. In a bowl fit for nobles, she brought him curdled milk. Her hand reached for the tent peg. Oh no, here we go again. Her hand reached for the tent peg, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera. She crushed his head. She shattered and pierced his temple. At her feet he sank. He fell. There he lay. At her feet he sank. He fell. Where he sank. There he fell dead. Through the window peered Sisera's mother. Behind the lattice she cried out, why is his chariot so long in coming? Why is the clatter of his chariots delayed? The wisest of her ladies answered her, indeed, she keeps saying to herself, are they not finding and dividing the spoils, a woman or two for each man? Colorful garments as plunder for Sisera, colorful garments embroidered, highly embroidered garments for my neck. All this is plunder. So it sounds to me that Sisera got tired of being human trafficked, and so she started using a hammer and an impaling tool to take out the men who were abusing her. As they lay drunk in a drunken stupor in bed, she started taking them out because she got tired of being abused. So may all your enemies perish, Lord, but may all who love you be like the sun when it rises in its strength. Then the land has peace 40 years. Peace for 40 years. That's what it says. Now let's move on to Judges chapter 6. This is very interesting reading it this way instead. I like the Bible when I can read it and it makes sense and it's in a story. The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them into the hands of the Midianites. Because the power of Midian was so oppressive, the Israelites prepared shelters for them in mountain clefts, caves, and strongholds. Whenever the Israelites planted their crops, the Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern people invaded the country. They camped on the land and ruined the crops all the way to Gaza, and did not spare a thing for the Israel, neither sheep nor cattle nor donkeys. So they're talking about war now, that they keep destroying their own land. They came up with their livestock and their tents like swarms of locusts. It was impossible to count them, or their camels. They invaded the land to ravage it. Midian was so impoverished, the Israelites, that they cried out to the Lord for help. When the Israelites cried out to the Lord because of Midian, he sent them a prophet who said, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you up out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. I rescued you from the hand of Egyptians, and I delivered you from the hand of all your oppressors. I drove them out before you and gave you their land. I said to you, I am Lord your God. Do not worship the gods of the Amorites in whose land you live. But you have not listened to me. And so it sounds like he gave them land. So this might be the thing related to 40 acres and a mule. And so they're giving them rotten land is what they're doing. So the king gave them rotten land they can't use. And then... So this just continues, it seems. I just hear a continuation in Judges. We're on chapter 6 of Judges, verse 11. The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joash and Abizrite, Oak and Ophrah, 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 where the son Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." "Pardon me, my lord," Gideon replied, "but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about when they said, 'Do not let the Lord bring us up out of Egypt'? But now the Lord has abandoned us and given us to the land of Midian." The Lord turned to him and said, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" "Pardon me, O Lord," Gideon replied, "but how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I'm the least in my family." The Lord answered, "I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites, leaving none alive." Gideon replied, "If now I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign that is really you talking to me. Please do not go away until I come back and bring my offering and set it before you." And the Lord said, "I will wait until you return." Gideon went inside, prepared a young goat, and from an ephah of flour he made bread without yeast, putting the meat in the basket and its broth in a pot. He brought them out and offered them to him under the oak. The angel of God said to him, "Take the meat and the unleavened bread, place them on the rock, and pour out the broth." And Gideon did so. Then the angel of the Lord touched the meat and the unleavened bread with the tip of the staff that was in his hand. Fire flared from the rock, consuming the meat and the bread. Now, think about this part. So it says, he took the tip of the staff that was in his hand. Fire flared from the rock. Now, I have to wonder, was the staff in his hand a torch that he had flaming? So this is Judges chapter 6, verse 21. Then the angel of the Lord touched the meat and the unleavened bread with the tip of his staff that was in his hand. Fire flared from the rock, consuming the meat and the bread. So he set the meat and the bread on fire so they couldn't eat it, and the angel of the Lord disappeared. So he took the food away from them that was there. When Gideon realized that it was an angel of the Lord, he exclaimed, "Alas, sovereign Lord, I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face." But the Lord said to him, "Peace, do not be afraid. You are not going to die." So Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and called it the Lord's Peace. To this day it stands in Ophrah and Abizrites. The same night the Lord said to him, "Take the second bull from your father's herd, and the one 7 years old. Tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Then build a proper kind of altar to your Lord on the top of the height." So he's telling them to build altars. Now an altar can also be a barbecue of some sort. Yeah, an altar can be a barbecue when you think about it. Because a lot of barbecue grills do look like altars. But this is giving us some kind of what I see, it's like people out hunting and then giving some type of food or something to God, which is really wasting food because you don't know who God is. It just becomes wasting. Using the wood of Asherah pole that you cut down off the second bull as a burnt offering. Oh, yeah, this is where they're doing burnt offerings to God, to the invisible deity. So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord told him, but because he was afraid of his family and his townspeople, he did it at night rather than the daytime. Oh, very slick, Gideon, very slick, to do it at night instead of the daytime. In the morning, when the people of town got up, there was Baal's altar demolished, and the Asherah pole beside it cut down, and the second bull sacrificed on the newly built altar. They asked each other, "Who did this?" When they carefully investigated, they were told Gideon, son of Joash, did it. The people of town demanded of Joash, Bring out your son, he must die, because he has broken down Baal's altar and cut down Asherah pole beside it. But Joash replied to the hostile crowd of people, Are you going to plead Baal's cause? Are you trying to save him? Whoever fights for him shall be put to death by morning. If Baal really is God, he can defend him when someone breaks down his altar. So because Gideon broke down Baal's altar, they gave him the name of Jerubbaal that day, saying, Let Baal contend with him. Now all Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern people joined forces, crossing over the Jordan, camped in the valley of Jezreel. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, summoning the Bezrites to follow him. He sent messengers through Manasseh, calling them to arms, and also to Asher, Zebulun, Naphtali, and so that they too went up to meet them. Gideon said to God, If you will save Israel by my hand, as you have promised, look, I will place a wool fleece of threshing on the floor. If there is dew only on the fleece, and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said. And that is what happened. Gideon rose early the next day. He squeezed the fleece and wrung out the dew, a bowl full of water. Oh, that's how he got water, because that's what it sounds like. How he got fresh water was by squeezing the fleece, and somehow it had collected some moisture. Then Gideon said to God, Do not be angry with me. Let me make just one more request. Allow me one more test with the fleece, but this time make the fleece dry and let the ground be covered with dew. That night God did so. Only the fleece was dry, all the ground was covered with dew. Well, that's interesting. So what it's saying is you can set a piece of fabric outside. This is what I'm learning from this part in the Bible right here. You could, in a very moist area, you can set a piece of fabric outside to collect rainwater. So if you are outside and you are near a tree, and say you have a piece of fabric or clothing or something, you could set a shirt out and it will collect water, and then you can drink that water. Or that's what I'm thinking. So maybe you wouldn't want to get it from the ground, but the fleece. There's also another point here too, because I don't know if it's raining. So this is in Judges chapter 6, verse 39. And so it's twofold here, that you can use a piece of fabric to collect water to drink. But then they're also saying, let the fleece be dry and the ground be wet. Well, if it's raining, how would the fleece be dry? I'm not quite sure. Now I want to read Judges chapter 7. We're going on to chapter 7. Okay, Gideon defeats the Midianites. Early in the morning, Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, and all his men camped at Spring Herod. The camp of Midian was north of them in the valley near the hill of Moreh. And God said to Gideon, You have too many men. I cannot deliver Midian into their hands, or Israel would boast against me. My own strength has saved me. Now announce to the army, anyone who trembles with fear may turn back and leave Mount Gilead. So 22,000 men left, while 10,000 remained. But the Lord said to Gideon, There are still too many men. Take them down to the water, and I will thin them out for you there. Oh my gosh! This doesn't sound good. I will say, This one shall go with you. He shall go. But if I say, This one shall not go with you, he shall not go. So Gideon took the men down to the water. There the Lord told him, Separate those who lap the water with their tongues, as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. Hello, K guitar loop. Hello, K guitar loop. Separate those who lap the water with their tongues as a dog laps from those who kneel down to drink. So it sounds like there's a combination of humans at this time. So some will use their tongue to lap like a dog laps, and others will do something different. But I know when I was a kid, I used to like to lap. I wanted to lap like the dogs and animals did. And this is something we should think about because little kids do that. So it's in the primal instinct of a child, if that's right, a correct wording, primal instinct. It's in the instinct and DNA of a baby to get down and lap things like a dog. Hello, K guitar loop. 300 of them drank from cupped hands, lapping like dogs. All the rest got down on their knees to drink. So there was people who stuck their face in the water, others cupped their hands. And so, I would use, like when I was in school and thirsty and the drinking fountain was full, I would go into the bathroom, turn the water on, and cup my hands to get a drink of water when I was thirsty. But even at that time, they were telling us that bathroom water was not as clean as the water from a drinking fountain. We were being told this when I was a kid in school, that bathroom water was not clean enough to drink as the water from a drinking fountain or water from a kitchen sink, which is a strange thing to think that the water would be different when it's all coming in with the same pipes. Do you have any questions or anything you'd like to talk about, K Guitar Loop? The Lord said to Gideon, with the 300 men that lapped, I will save you and give the Midianites into your hands. Let all the others go home. So Gideon sent the rest of the Israelites home, but kept the 300, who took over the provisions and trumpets of the others. Now the camp of Midian lay below him in the valley. During the night the Lord said to Gideon, get up, go down to the camp, because I'm going to give it into your hands. If you're afraid to attack, go down to the camp with your servant Purah and listen to what they're saying. Afterward, you will be encouraged to attack the camp. So he and Purah, his servant, went down to the outposts of the camp. The Midianites and Amalekites and all the other eastern people had settled in the valley thick as locusts. Their camels could do no more be counted than the sand of the seashore. Gideon arrived as the man was telling a friend of his dream. I had a dream, he was saying. A round loaf of barley bread came tumbling into the Midianite camp. It struck the tent with such force that the tent overturned and collapsed. His friend responded, this can be nothing other than the sword of Gideon, son of Joash the Israelite. God had given the Midianites the whole camp into his hands. Oh, please keep talking. You're all ears. Okay. So you like listening to the Bible being read? Uh, you guys like listening to the Bible being read? When Gideon heard the dream and its interpretation, he bowed down and worshipped. He returned to the camp of Israel and called out, get up! The Lord has given Midianite camp into your hands. Dividing all 300 men into 3 companies, he placed trumpets and empty jars in the hands of all of them, with torches inside. Watch me, he told them. Follow my lead. When I get to the edge of the camp, do exactly as I do. When I and all who are with me blow our trumpets, then from all around the camp you blow yours and shout, for the Lord of Gideon. Oh, this must be where Gideon Bible comes from. I just knew. Okay, Gideon Bible. Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the edge of the camp at the beginning of the middle watch, just after they had changed guard. They blew their trumpets and broke the jars that were in their bare hands. The 3 companies blew the trumpets and smashed the jars, grasping the torches in their left hands and holding in their right hand the trumpets. There, where they blow, they shouted, a sword for Lord of Gideon. While each man held his position around the camp, all the Midianites ran, crying out as they fled. When the 300 trumpets sounded, the Lord caused the men throughout the camp to turn on each other with their swords. The army fled to Beth Shittah towards Zerah as far... My goodness. That's the name. This is in the Bible. The army fled to Beth Shittah towards Zerah as far as the border of Abel, Mahola near Tabith. The trumpet, yes. We are in Judges chapter 7, and I'm reading right at verse 22. The army fled to Bethshittah toward Zerah, Zererah. It sounds like Sarah, but it starts with a Z. And Era is also in there too. As far as the border of Abel, Mahalah, and Tabith, Israelites from Naphtali, Asher, and Manasseh were called out, and they pursued the Midianites. Gideon sent messengers through the hill of Ephraim, saying, "Come down against the Midianites and seize the waters of Jordan ahead of them as far as Beth Barah." So the men of Ephraim were called out, and they seized the waters of Jordan as far as Beth Barah. They also captured two of the Midianite leaders, Oreb and Zeb, which Zeb backwards is bees. They killed Oreb at the rock of Oreb and Zeb at the winepress of Zeb. They pursued the Midianites and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon, who was by the Jordan. So yes, the trumpet is mentioned in Judges in chapter 7 of the Bible. And so I am reading from the U version of the Bible, which is, to me, it's a version that puts the parables of the Bible into a story that makes sense, which that's fun. That's actually kind of fun that someone has taken the time to put the Bible into a readable manner so it makes sense. Okay, so I think I'm going to read one more chapter. We're in chapter 8 now. Zebah and Zalmunna. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. It looks like. Now the Ephraimites asked Gideon, "Why have you treated us like this? Why did you call us when you went to fight Midian?" And they challenged him vigorously. But he answered them, "What have I accomplished compared to you? Aren't the gleanings of Ephraim's grapes better than the full grape harvest of Abizir? God gave Oreb and Zeb, the Midianite leaders, into your hands. What was I able to do compared to you?" At this, their resentment against him subsided. Okay, Kay. Sorry to interrupt. 10. Please call. Oh, I can just call you Kay. I don't need to include the guitar loop. Okay, I will just call you Kay. Gideon and his 300 men, exhausted, yet keeping up the pursuit, came to Jordan and crossed it. He said to the men of Succoth, it looks like Succoth, but it's Sukkoth, Succoth, "Give my troops some bread. They are worn out, and I am still pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian." But the officials of Succoth said, "Do you already have hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your troops?" Then Gideon replied, "Just for that, when the Lord has given Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, I will tear your flesh with desert thorns and briars." Now, right here, he's threatening him, saying, "I will tear your flesh with desert thorns and briars," which sounds like raspberries and blackberries because they have thorns and briar patches. So desert thorns is the fruits that have thorns in them. From there he went to Peniel and made the same request of them, but they answered as the men of Succoth had. So he said to the men of Peniel, "When I return in triumph, I will tear down this tower." Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor with a force of about 15,000 men. Okay, so I lost my signal. Yeah, I lost my signal. The modem went wacky, and so I lost my signal. Yeah, I'm back now. That's what happens. But I knew that from my original channel that you can just exit the YouTube app and go get your signal fixed again. Do not end your live stream. You don't have to end your live stream. So there's plenty of time for you to go fix your signal, because that's a common thing that happens, is that like the modems will have a bad connection. Okay, good. It came back. And so that's what happens. You don't have to disconnect from your existing live stream. You can just leave it there and then come back on. And so that's a fun little thing that YouTube has done, is that we can exit out of the YouTube app, go make sure get our connection connected back up again, and then we can come back on, and then the connection is still there. Zebah and Zalmunna, the two kings of Midian, fled, but he pursued them and captured them, routing their entire army. Gideon, son of Joash, then returned from the battle by the pass of Heres. He caught a young man of Succoth and questioned him, and the young man wrote down for him the names of 77 officials of Succoth, the elders of the town. Then Gideon came and said to the men of Succoth, "Here are Zebah and Zalmunna, about whom you taunted me by saying, 'Do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your exhausted men?' He took the elders of the town and taught the men of Succoth a lesson by punishing them with desert thorns and briars." Oh, desert thorns and briars is probably kind of like the crown they put on Jesus when they did him a favor and hung him on the cross. When they did that. I'm listening to this from Japan. Interesting. It's 2:49 a.m. in Japan right now. Okay, Kay. Okay, Kay. I hear you, KK. He also pulled down the Tower of Peniel and killed the men of the town. Then he asked to Zebah and Zalmunna, "What kind of men did you kill at Tabor? Men like you," they answered, "each one with the bearing of the prince." Gideon replied, "Those were my brothers and sons of my own mother, and surely as the Lord lives, if you had spared their lives, I would not kill you." Turning to Jether, his oldest son, he said, "Kill them." But Jether did not draw his sword, because he was only a boy and was afraid. Zebah and Zalmunna said, "Come, do it yourself. As is the man, so is his strength." So Gideon stepped forward and killed them, and took the ornaments of their camel's neck off their camel's neck. Okay, K. Okay, K. Okay, KK. Gideon's ephod, the Israelites said to Gideon, "Rule over us, you, your son, and your grandson, because you have saved us from the hand of Midian." But Gideon told them, "I will not rule over you, nor will you rule over your son. The Lord will rule over you." And he said, "I do have one request, that each of you give me an earring from your share of the plunder." It was the custom of the Ishmaelites to wear gold earrings. They answered, "We'll be back to give." I wonder if that's the plate earrings that they talk about, like when they wear the lip plates and stuff like that, and they actually disfigured themselves. They put adornments and things around their bodies and literally disfigured themselves, which sounds so cruel to do, but they were doing it to themselves. They were making a choice to disfigure themselves on purpose. The weight of the gold rings he asked for came to 1,700 shekels. Oh, I forgot about the shekels. Not counting the ornaments, the pendants, and the purple garments worn by the kings of Midian, or the chains that were on the camels' necks. Gideon made the gold into an ephod, which he placed in Ophrah, his town. The Israel prostituted themselves by worshiping in there, and it became a snare to the Gideon and his family. Gideon's death. Thus Midian was subdued before the Israelites and did not raise its head again. During Gideon's lifetime, the land had peace 40 years. Jerubbaal, son of Joash, who went back home to live. He had 70 sons of his own, for he had many wives. His concubine, who lived in Shechem, also bore him a son, whom he named Abimelech. Gideon, son of Joash, died at a good old age, and was buried in the tomb of his father Joash in Ophrah the Bezerites. No sooner had Gideon died than the Israelites again prostituted themselves to Baals. They set up Baal Berith as God, and did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hands of all the enemies on every side. They also failed to show any loyalty to the family of Jerubbaal. This is Gideon, in spite of all the good things he had done for them. And I think that's where I'm going to end it right now. So I've read through Judges chapter 8 in this new U version of the Bible that I've read that actually puts things in sense and makes it make sense. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they would like to ask or participate in with a two-way dialogue or anything? I just thought I would ask to see if there's any questions or anything related to my opinion on anything. Do you have any questions, Kay? KGO. Are you going to hop off? I am going to hop off and be done. So you're wanting me to just end my live stream. You guys seem like just more interested in me ending my live stream than actually being interested in anything. That's what it seems like to me. Are you part of that group that wants to get paid to do nothing? I mean, that's what it seems like. There's part of an element of a group in social media who wants, they don't actually want to engage on anybody else's channels. They want to get paid to do nothing. So they want to live in big mansions and get paid to do nothing and not actually help other people with the success on YouTube. Okay, go ahead and ask the question. Are you going to ask your question? I mean, this is great that I found this Bible because I know, what do you call a deer with no eyes? A deer blind? I think you would probably call it a deer blind. You know, I know they make, that hunters make deer blinds. And so they set them next to a tree and they climb up into it. And they create like sticks and things. So even though there might be there could be some plywood up on the deer blind, or you just take sticks. No idea. No idea. Oh, a no idea. I thought you would have called it a deer blind. No idea. I guess both work. A daddy joke. No idea. I don't remember hearing that before. That one I don't remember hearing before. But I do know because my dad hunted. I know what a deer blind is because, well, he was more into deer hunting as I aged and left home. He got more into it. I guess he had more money because kids are expensive, and you know that's what we were told, that kids are expensive, and so then parents have more money as the kids leave. Turns out for women that doesn't turn out to be true, especially if you're in a bad marriage. For women, it turns out to not be true that you have more money. You know, you just end up screwed. And so especially with inflation. And so women aren't supposed to be able to make anything out of themselves or their life, as far as that goes. And so for women, I mean, we just get stuck in a dead end. Anyway, that's where I'll leave it at this time. And so thank you for watching, and I will probably be back on again later. Even though I'm not making any money, I just thought everybody's talking about the internet's for entertainment, it's fake, nothing is real. And I thought, I am going to do my contribution and my part to fake and not real by reading the Bible. And I am so happy I found this YouVersion of the Bible. And it puts the Bible into a story format that makes sense. I just love this. I mean, because even though there's people who are going to question the fact of the parables of the Bible being changed, it just puts it into something that makes sense. And it just fits in actually with the parables of the Bible instead of leaving parts of the Bible out. And I actually think that that's what somebody has done in the past, is rewritten the Bible to leave out chunks of the Bible so it doesn't make sense related to war in the biblical times. Why would they do that? So why would they change things from the past to take out bits and chunks of the Bible so that people don't understand what's going on? I mean, because even with the bits and chunks of the Bible from the past, if they've modified and edited the Bible, then they're hiding a truth, which, I mean, we already know it's in front of us in plain sight anyway. Have you ever seen... no, I've never seen Stevie Wonder's mother, ever. I don't think he has either. When I think of Stevie Wonder, I think of Wonder Bread. I don't know what Stevie Wonder... Is there a joke with that? With Stevie Wonder's mother? Is there supposed to be some kind of joke in there or something? I mean, is Stevie Wonder, is he the guy that's blind? I don't remember now. I was thinking, I thought Stevie Wonder was blind. Stevie Wonder. Stevie. TV isn't Stevie. Stevie Wonder. Yeah, he is blind as well. Okay, yeah, I remember who he is. No, Stevie Wonder's... He's never showed his mother ever. Stevie Wonder's mother. Let's see. Lula Mae Hardaway. Lula Mae Hardaway. She looks like a white lady, actually. Lula Mae Hardaway looks like a white woman. Or she's very, very light skinned. Lula Mae Hardaway. Let's see. Lulamae. Is she related to Penny Hardaway? Or Anthony, whatever they call him. Yeah, Stevie Wonder's mom looks like a white lady. That's what I'm seeing here on Google. She looks like a white lady. Oh, Lula Mae Hardaway, matriarch and composer, born African American registry. What does that mean? That must mean that she was brought from... Yeah, she looks like a very light-skinned woman. I mean, she just looks like your average American woman. Lula Mae... Let me read a little bit about this. Lula Mae Hardaway was born on this date in the 1930s. She was a black songwriter and a mother of musician Stevie Wonder. Lula Mae Hardaway was born in Eufaula, Alabama, and was the daughter of a sharecropper, Noble Hardaway. Her childhood years were marked by hardship, moving around and among relatives before eventually reaching Saginaw, Michigan, where she married a much older Calvin Judkin, father of her children. The blindness of her third child Steveland, Stevie Wonder, is because of being born weeks prematurely and then receiving too much oxygen in the incubator. Oh, so her child was born in a, well, he was in an incubator? I mean, they must have had money to be able to afford to for him to go into a hospital, because even back then they had hospitals. After moving with her family to Detroit, she divorced. It was in Detroit that the musical talents of Steveland, by who the age of 10 was playing and singing gospel tunes in church, then joining adults singing rhythm and blues on the street corners, and came to have dubbed him Little Stevie Wonder. Hardaway co-wrote many of her songs during his teenage years, including the hit single I Was Made to Love Her. So his mom wrote the songs, it sounds like. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. You met your match, and I don't know why I love you. Co-writing 4 songs from 1968 album For Once in My Life. For co-writing Signed, Sealed, Delivered, she was nominated for a 1970s Grammy Award for her best R&B song. In 1974, Hardaway was with then 23-year-old Wonder when he received his first Grammy. She was the subject of a 2002 authorized biography entering Blind Faith, the miraculous journey of Lula Hardaway, Stevie Wonder's mother. When she died in May 31st, 2006, she had 20 grandchildren, a great and great-grandchildren. A service was held in West Los Angeles Church of God in Christ. There were remarks by Motown founder Berry Gordy and songs by gospel singer Yolanda Adams and others. Yes, his first album, Uptight, when he was age 11. That wasn't mentioned in here. This is in a registry. It's in the Registry of African American Registry. So let's see, it has org on it. So this is a nonprofit website, I'm thinking. So yeah, she has really gone unnoticed. It's like his mother really gets overshadowed with his legend. His mom wrote the music, and so yeah, I mean, she was an important part, it sounds like. I didn't know she wrote his songs. That's pretty powerful to think she wrote his songs for him and participated in him becoming a very famous, influential songwriter. Now, I'm trying to think. I mean, he did a lot of fun songs. I always liked Stevie Wonder. Was he the Yeah, I mean, Stevie Wonder was pretty cool. He was, I don't know if he was an activist. I mean, I know he participated in We Are the World. My channel's name is K Guitar Loop. I'm not a fake. Okay, so you're not an AI, because everybody is having a really hard time knowing what AI is. And I watched a man. I'm going to tell you guys who this man is in just a second here. Let me see if I can find him. Because he did this thing about AI, and he was upset because he asked AI to make some things for him related to a song, because he has access to more of Chat GPT than what I have. And so he was able to go into Chat GPT, and it made a song. It was kind of like maybe a country music song, and it was perfect. It was like it created a fake man. It created an AI voice. Everything was AI. And it was just okay. The name of the guy is Rick Beato, and it says, "I'm sorry, this new artist completely sucks." And so I left him a comment, and I said, the artist sounds really good for it being made by artificial intelligence. I mean, and it did. It was really, really good. But he said that there was other versions that was made that didn't sound very good. which is true. I find that with what little bit that um, I have lesser versions of songs since that sometimes that they don't sound pleasing to the ear. So there's usually one version that sounds pleasing to your ear, and then there's other versions that may not be as pleasing that AI creates. It's kind of off off tone and off tune. And so I'm thinking in with AI making the music, it probably gets a really good idea from a bunch of different human beings who listen to things um, with different ears. Let me see if I can find your channel. I'm going to type this in while you're here so I know how to spell it. Otherwise, I can't actually get to your channel while I'm doing this. Or maybe, let me see. I might be able to this way. Oh, yeah, this way I can. Okay. Key guitar loop. You got videos here. Midnight Funk Jam. Okay, I found your channel because I forgot that I have my desktop chat going too. K guitar loop. Um, so I subscribed and I'll take a look at your channel and see what's going on, what you got going on the channel. It's a niche, I will say that. What kind of music do you like? What kind of sounds do you like to listen to? I've backed off from music right now. But typically I'd listen to pop music, pop and country. Over my lifetime, I listened to a little bit of R&B. I've backed off a lot from that. Um, yeah, but right now I've been listening to old music, very old music from when I was a kid, which is a long, long time ago. But there is some newer music, like Kenny Chesney, Knowing You. I liked that song. There was other people who said they didn't like Kenny Chesney. I don't know why. Unless Kenny Chesney is an AI bot. It's possible. I liked the song Scars in Heaven. I loved that song. There's just one version of the video that I don't like. Um, I like it, but yet I don't like to watch it, because it's like I try to move away. Pop, country. Yeah, I listen to pop music and country. Our R&B is Elvis sang R&B music. So it's not just a culture thing. There's people who are white people who sing R&B music too. It's just that a lot of music seems to get classified and lumped in based on race, it seems like right now, which is really strange why it would do that, because um, Elvis Presley. No, I'm not saying that. Elvis was rhythm and blues music. Elvis was like, I mean, a lot of country music singers have sang rhythm and blues from back in the day. Let me see if I can find some examples. I'll see if I can find some examples. Hall and Oates. Oh, here it is. Taylor Dane is rhythm and blues. Robin Thicke is rhythm and blues. Hall and Oates is rhythm and blues. I like Taylor Dane. I just thought she was pop music. I didn't realize she was classified as rhythm and blues. Bobby, Tina Marie, Eric Clapton. Oh, Eric Clapton. I like Eric Clapton for sure. Who is, let me find another one. What's that song? You left me just when I needed you most. Uh, just when oh, Randy Van Warmer. Randy Van Warmer. He sang that song, You Left Me Just When I Needed You Most. I think that's a rhythm and blues song. And then If by Bread, if a picture paints 1,000 words, then why can't I paint you? I loved that song from back in the day. That's the kind of stuff I listen to, the old-fashioned stuff. I even like the song Chevy Van too. That it's kind of a naughty song, but Chevy Van. I gave a girl a ride in my wagon. It reminded me of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Pizza Thrower. You know that song? Um, yeah, so it just kind of evolved. So I started seeing the advertising in the music and in the toys from when I was a kid. So it was just something, it was just a connection I was making by myself. So we had the song Chevy Van and then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when my son liked playing with them, and the pizza thrower in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy van, then it reminded me of Chevy Van. I wasn't thinking about advertising towards kids, even though a lot of people will say, oh, you're not supposed to direct and target advertising towards kids. Well, when you got Chevy Van, and how old, back when that song was popular, I was in middle school. I was in junior high school. And Chevy Van was a song about a man getting it on with a woman. The Beatles. Oh, we all live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine. Oh, I can be so naughty about the yellow submarine. Um, the yellow submarine would be like the beetle. When you have the clown car, the beetle from depicted back in the day. Now the yellow submarine that is offloading all the seamen out of the submarine. The seamen that work for the United States military. That's what I'm talking about. Just to clarify, I'm not going in the gutter. And if you went in the gutter, I love you too. And so the United States military, and we all live in a yellow submarine. Well, let's talk about Florida and all the semen that shoots out of that thing. The peninsula of Florida is a great big giant Venus flytrap. Now, if you look at Google Maps, you can see it. Now, I made videos on my other YouTube channel about this. I was on a whiteboard and I drew a picture. Well, and I showed it. Maybe I should make another short video on this channel and show you what I see. Because if you look at the shape of the peninsula of Florida, it's a giant penis. It's a giant submarine. And I've always said that you can follow the trail down the coastline of the United States, down and out through Florida, out through Miami, and it's a great big ejaculation of water out into the ocean. Richard Starkey, oops, Ringo Starr. Oh, his real name was Richard Starkey? I never knew that, what his real name was. Ringo Starr. Yeah. Well, and I said the other day too, I was talking about Star Search. Star Search, and Rosie O'Donnell was on Star Search. Ed McMahon. He went from Johnny Carson to Star Search. Ed McMahon got his own show. So he wasn't just the sidekick all the time. He eventually got his own show, and which was Star Search, which was really, really popular. A lot of comedians, Rosie O'Donnell was on there. I believe that Sam Harris was on Star Search. I remember Sam Harris. He was a singer on Star Search. He is the Beatles drummer. He sang Yellow Submarine. You know, the thing I'm thinking, I've listened to some of these guys who sing, and it's like, I can sing as good or better than they sing. I could be a singer. Why couldn't I? I mean, just because I'm old doesn't mean I can't be a singer. I could be a famous singer. And, you know, and some of the singers in the other genres, such as hip hop, they have some terrible singers. They're horrible. I mean, they can't carry a tune in a bucket, and they've made them famous anyway for singing bad. But yet people listen to their music, you know, well, they're really listening to the beat, and then they have to auto tune them. So it has me wondering, this is what has me wondering related to the hip hop genre. If they are not just purposely making the music bad, but they have hip hop artists who can't actually or aren't singing anything again. I can be a famous singer. I've been singing shorts on my channel. I've been mixing my own content, and it doesn't take me very long. I can do it in less than an hour. In less than an hour, I can make me a 15-second short music video, and I've been doing it. Why are you laughing? I've been doing it. You go right on ahead and laugh, because the stuff I put up, I mean, I have been ran through the ringer related to this YouTube thing, but I still fight against the establishment because I saw a vision for those of us who are independent on YouTube in how we do things. And I see the connections of the popular words, the popular names, and that's what it's about. It's like, I get what the celebrities are doing, the street theater, the improv. It's like they've been, you know, I've been a housewife, and so I learned how this is done. Now, when I was watching the daytime TV, I didn't realize they were just doing improv. And then I started making that connection because who were those two guys? What are they're the guys that were on the improv show. I can't remember what it's called right offhand now. I'm So Funny and the Real Individualist. Oh, the divisive, the Discord divisive list. Yeah, I never was trying to divide people, but I understood the Discord thing, the discourse and the Discord. Um, Yeah, I mean, I always tried to be individual, with the understanding that I'm not. We're all sheep because we're all born in as human beings, so all human beings are sheep. It's just that I wanted to be a part of the money. You know, it's like because we need money to survive, but I've just been completely left out. And, you know, so I watched the Beatles on Saturday morning cartoons. Oh, I'm unique in a good way? Well, do you want to talk about the Yellow Submarine and the Firm? Now, do you remember that there was a show called The Firm? Now, I got that from my divorce attorney because there was a piece of paperwork where he signed The Firm on it. And I'm like, what in the world? I thought you were a real divorce attorney, not someone who is just doing street improv and street theater. Are you a real attorney or are you a fake attorney? Because you put the firm on this divorce document. Um, and so who signs who puts that on a divorce paper? The firm? Now there was a TV show called The Firm. There was a TV show called The Office. Microsoft had their Office Assistants, which was paperclip. There was, what was a Microsoft? I'm going to have to look here and see. The Microsoft MICR And let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you this too. Masturbation should be banned because of the fact, I've said this before, I said it on my original YouTube channel, because men are killing all those potential children. They need to ban masturbation. Because they said with every little spout, every little whale spout out of the submarine, there's like millions of children that could have been made. And men need regulated in the same way. I am serious about that. Men need to be regulated. Microsoft assistants. Names. Okay, I want to see what the original Microsoft assistant names are. Now, it sounds like Microsoft is somewhat maybe being going. No, I wanted to see. Okay, Clippy. No, I wanted to see the original Microsoft assistants. Okay, here we. Okay, dog was one of them. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can see it. They're in Wiki Fandom now. The dog. And Paperclip. I think there was a cat. Paperclip. They have moved into Hoverbot, Dot, Genius, Robot, Lynx, and Rocky the dog. Clippy. Yeah, the Microsoft. I'm going to have to look them up because that was fun. That was the good old days. Because Microsoft itself did have a sense of humor. And with their Microsoft assistants, but Microsoft was really expensive though, because they didn't give anything away for free. Microsoft gave nothing away for free. They were getting greedy. Yeah, there's a cat. Oh, the Hoverbot. The Hoverbot. And Jigsaw Puzzle. Cat, Earth. No wonder we get the old man, grumpy old man. And fat little man, and then the king. There's a lot of history in the Microsoft assistants and in Microsoft. The same thing within the what in the world are they called? Within Norton Antivirus and McAfee Antivirus, with all the viruses in there. And I'd always said, this is what I'd said, imagine if the United States put a pandemic like in Norton and McAfee on the American public, and lo and behold, they did. So I must not have been the only one voicing this, saying, because I was thinking, well, you could just take what they're doing on the internet with the McAfee antivirus and then the comparisons related to viruses and illnesses and the inflated price within the medical industry. And Microsoft was the counter of inflation, where Google was the one who kind of tries to keep things cheaper. So there's a yin and a yang between Microsoft and Google right now. There's a big yin and a yang. So Microsoft is really, really expensive. They charge you for everything, where Google, on the opposite end, gives you the same thing that Microsoft does for free. Even though it may not be as good as, Google stuff works. They've done really good in getting it to work and giving it to you for free. Where Microsoft, on the other hand, exposes the affluent side. Yes, it's absolutely true. If you've been on the internet like I have, I know a lot of people may not be interested in the internet. They don't nerd out and geek out as much as I do. But there really is a thing to that, to the connections. And it's like, I tried to stick with the internet and avoid the celebrities. And I remember asking YouTube at one time too. So when I had about 10,000 followers on YouTube, I was starting to smell myself a little bit, like everybody does. when you get a few thousand followers, it's like, hey, there's these people following me. I have no idea who they are. And I said, well, how come I how come you don't mention my birthday? You mention these celebrities, but you don't mention my birthday. And and someone wrote and they said, well, that's because it's for the celebrities. So I started seeing the common denominators and making these connections. And then the Classmates website, Classmates. I think I've mentioned this before. Or do we want to get back in the yellow submarine, which is Florida? Let's turn Florida yellow. Florida is the big yellow submarine, and it's pointing and shooting. It's a point and shoot camera. It points down into the Caribbean. Now, if you look at the Caribbean down there, in the Caribbean, okay, I'm in my Google Maps now. And you look down there at the Caribbean, well, you could just kind of look at it and follow the trail there. The Caribbean just came out of Florida. Florida came and spurted out the Caribbean. Am I in Florida? What do you want to know where I'm at? No, I am not in Florida. I am not really telling where I'm at, though, because, Florida it's wanking off to the, where's it wanking off to there? Oh, towards Dry Tortugas National Park. You can see a great big old, when you put on the terrain view, Florida is a great big ejaculation out into the ocean. I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it, because on a grand scale, the earth makes some naughty shapes. They've had the weather people, though, do that too, which is kind of funny. Kissimmee, Florida, what a name. Kissimmee. Kissimmee. And you can see even underneath the continental plates. Florida would be huge if there was more areas of the continental plates that came up. The United States would have a lot more land. But we can actually go over to Asia. There's a part in Asia that is very similar to Florida. Let me go over here to Asia and I'll tell you what the part is. Over in Asia, the part is Vietnam. They have their own, the Ring of Fire. Cambodia, Vietnam is very, very similar. It's a jigsaw puzzle. The Earth is a jigsaw puzzle right now. And they have their own little thing going on there in the Ring of Fire. Okay, you're Asian. Well, I'm Caucasian, so I have Asian as well. Singapore. Okay, so I've been on here for close to 2 hours now. They got the Bahamas looking really pretty, though, with all those turquoise colors, the turquoise beautiful waters, what they said is it's the sands that come out of the mountains, and then the water gets ground down into, or not the water, the quartz gets ground down, and so it makes that pretty turquoise color. And there's very few places around the world that have those colors. And the United States Caribbean area is one of them that has the colors, that we're able to see those pretty turquoise colors in the sea, which it's shallow areas. And I think it's something to do with the reflection in the shallow areas of the Caribbean. Maybe even, it almost reminds me of, what in the world is that called? Not alabaster. The shell. There's a shell that has some pretty colors. I can't remember what the Caucasian. Yes, there's a There's Asian and Caucasian, yes. Asian and Caucasian. Summy kiss me. I've said this for many, many years. There's Asian and Caucasian. And by we were forced by a lot of companies who decided to use the black and white thing for hiring instead of putting Caucasian down. They forced people into the black and white and they took away Caucasian off job applications. They didn't include that anymore. And I always wondered why they did that, So, I mean, I get that it really does violate the Fourth Amendment. But if you want a job, you have to put this stuff down. And so there was this big effort that stripped away Caucasian in the United States, and they put black and white on there. Now, maybe there was a purpose for putting black and white on there because for us to determine that there is no true black and no true white. When you look at people based on skin color, there's absolutely no true white person and no true black person. I've always said that before. But at the same time, it's like I've been called racist. And it's like, well, how can you call me racist when I was married to a black man? I was with him for like 18 years total, even though we weren't married that long. Close to 18 years total. So how can you call me racist? I mean, I went into the relationship with pure intentions of it lasting and not ending the way that it ended. But, Caucasian is white people. Asian, especially Japanese, is basically Mongoloid. Well, in the United States, I don't know why they used to call Asian people yellow, and I don't know why. There was something that they called them yellow or something like that. It never made any sense to me. And it's like I looked at Asian people and I thought, they don't look yellow to me. Why are you saying they look yellow? Yeah, I've said the same thing. I'm Asian as well. So if you guys want to lawyer your way into jobs, you can put that you're Asian on, you can put that you're Asian and you're Indian. Let me tell you something else. I will tell you something else. You can also put Indian. You're indigenous to the United States. Our ancestors in the United States are Indian. So you can put Asian and Indian on the job applications. You don't have to be black. You can put Indian and Asian. And so I think that the people that I was sharing this message with has not maybe gotten through to them, that they don't have to wear black shirts. They can actually do Caucasian, because there's Asian and Caucasian. They're Asian and they're indigenous Indian as well. How to create easy to create an emoji now. All you have to do is go into Chat GPT or Gemini or Copilot. I don't know about Copilot. I haven't done it there, but I have in Gemini. I have in Chat GPT, and there's another app called Leonardo.ai, which I think might be an older version. I'm not sure, but there's little tokens with that one, and so I have a limit of how many pictures I can make with that one. They can all make emojis. All of them can. Like, what app I need to use? Oh, just use Chat GPT. Go into Chat GPT, and what you would say is, well, YouTube. YouTube will also make you emojis. You can use YouTube to make you, and you can use the picture, because I go into YouTube and it's given me an option up in my upper right hand corner, and I'm using my phone, and I can make a 15-second video, or I can just use the image, and all you have to do is voice to text in there and say, would you make me an emoji? Now, if you just say, "Would you make me an emoji?" it's going to be whatever it decides to make. Well, you can say, "Would you make me an emoji that is of a sad face or a grumpy face?" Oh, you can't make emojis? Oh, your mom says don't use Chat GPT. I wonder why your mom would tell you to not use Chat GPT. It's not bad. I mean, there's nothing bad about. I made, what was it I made earlier? I was trying to get Chat GPT to make a song for me because I kept being told that. Let me see what if it did, if it completed. No, it didn't do what it said it was going to do for me. Please give me just a moment to generate and upload both files. Hang tight. Now I'm left hanging, and ChatGPT did not make the song for me. It said, "Here's what I'll do now to prepare you. PDF sheet music with melody and chord symbols. MIDI audio file of the melody and chords simple piano. Please give me just a moment, and I'll upload both files." Now, I don't know where it did it at. Chat GPT can make mistakes. Check important info. Okay, I don't know where important info is. What point was it that I got? Okay, can you tell me that? What point was it that I got that related to Caucasian and Asian? And, no, I don't think Asian people are yellow. They don't look yellow to me, but I think that was something that someone did back in the day, maybe just to be mean and try to, um, I think they were trying to use that to identify people in describing a person. Oh, yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine. We do. We do live in a submarine up until the point of ejaculation. I mean, I can say that word, I'm pretty sure. It's not a word used that much. Um, we live in a yellow submarine up until ejaculation. Now, you know what? When you go to Subway and you eat a submarine sandwich, the mayonnaise ejaculates all over your hand sometimes. Oh, you got an emoji maker? Um, I don't know where an emoji maker is. Let me see. Emojimaker. Emoji Maker Google. Okay, let me go to Emoji Maker Google. Emoji Kitchen. That's what came up first. It looks like it's a developer. It's a DEV, so it's in development mode. Okay, it is throttling at white right now. Okay, it just popped in. Oh! Oh my goodness. You mean we can make emojis there? I never knew that. That looks like fun. I think I can figure this out. There was an emoji. Oh, you're lost? What do you mean you're lost? There was an emoji there. If I make an emoji, I wonder if Google will start using my emojis for everyone. There was an emoji the other day that I had said. Now I can't remember. Oh. Yeah, I will try it. I'm trying to figure out how I would make emojis in here. I can find emojis, but the emojis are off by themselves. I guess we're still in the big tech breakup. I mean, they're breaking everything up this time. This is probably one of the deepest breakups that the internet will ever see in our lifetime. Um, the background. Oh, did you hear a noise? Did you hear a noise? Did you hear a big noise? Refat, did you hear a big noise? Um, the um what one of the airplanes took off from the tarmac of the aircraft carrier. Yeah, we had an airplane take off from the tarmac of the aircraft carrier. Yes, absolutely, yes, like an airplane. So it took off from the tarmac of the aircraft carrier. There's probably going to be more. When there's one, there's always more. Yes, one of the airplanes. It took off into the wild blue yonder. I know I love the airplanes too. I totally love the airplanes. Um, it would be great to have a place to live, though. I mean, I would join the Air Force if I could have a place to live. I mean, that would be my motivation to have a job, a real job, a place to live, something that's affordable. The government pays for it, so I have a place to live. And I live by myself, and then I could waiver myself. Um, I'm in rank 1. What rank are you? Oh, you're in rank 1? What does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so I am in this emoji kitchen and I just do not see how to actually make an emoji. Okay, there's a gold medal. It was a pig and then a gold medal that has French fries on it. Oh, at the top, like at the top of, oh, oh yeah, you've got the crown. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You've got the crown. It's easy to get the purple crown on my chat because I don't have very many people chatting. Okay, there's a megaphone. We got a megaphone. I got big emojis though. I like that we got big emojis here. Um, I'm going to save this page. I'm going to save this page because maybe I'll do some artwork from the emojis. I've done that before in the past, and it's kind of fun to make emojis from, or to make drawings from emojis. I'm trying to bookmark something and talk at the same time, and that doesn't always work out well. So I'm trying to do two things that, okay, I'm your bestie. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see how long me being your bestie lasts, because a lot of times it doesn't last very long. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll end this and then later I'll read from the Bible again. Okay, we don't have any text with the emojis. We've got the megaphone. We've got the turtle. Oh, the turtle is farting hearts. Oh, I like this turtle. The turtle farting hearts. I like that. What do we do with it? Do we put it in here to contribute? And then we've got cheese. We've got a bunch of cheeses. A whole bunch of cheeses. Well, this is cool. I'm not sure what I would... Oh, we've got a pumpkin. We've got a pumpkin that looks like cheese. No, I don't know everything. I absolutely do not know everything. I don't. There's a lot of things that I do know, but I don't know everything. There's no way I can know everything. Okay. So how do I get more of... Oh, this is cool. Okay, a shopping cart that has fruit going into it. I mean, there is a whole bunch of emojis that someone has made. Okay. Oh, what is this? This is a weird looking emoji. This one is weird. I don't even know what it looks like. It looks like a walnut maybe, or an acorn or something. I'm not quite sure. This is strange looking. The word emoji comes originally from Japanese language. Okay, so we've got the heart. Oh no, how do I go back? I wanted to go back to that heart. How do I get back there? Okay. Oh, so some of these are for colors. Um, oh, oh, the party hat emoji. Oh, this one is cool because it's got like a speaker next to its mouth. Oh, you need to dinner, you need to go eat. Okay, yeah, me too. I haven't eaten either yet, so I'm gonna have to eat myself, find something to eat. Um, but this is cool. I'm not quite sure how. Okay, I copy, and then paste, and then okay, I get a bunch of green emojis that just have some weird characters in there. And then I can change the colors and do some strange things over here. Let me see if I can put some eyes. Oh, well, that's cool. I can make a whole bunch of emojis over here. Let's put lips. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I mean, I could do a whole bunch of drawings, with hand drawings from this emoji maker. Let's see what mushroom does. Oh, mushroom is cool. I love mushroom. We got mushroom is growing out the top of gumdrop emoji. The wisest is he knows nothing. The wisest who knows nothing. I know a lot of nothing. I have been told that many, many times that I know a lot of nothing. That I know a lot of useless information. There's a lot of nothing in my brain, useless information that nobody is interested in, nobody wants anything to do with. And, that's what I've been told over and over and over again, that I'm just an empty wagon that makes a lot of noise. That's what I am, an empty wagon. I had an ex-husband who told me that. I'm an empty wagon who makes a lot of noise. You feel bad to go during live. Oh, you feel bad leaving? Well, you can stay. I mean, you can stay. I'm going to end the live, though. I like that there's someone who stays the whole time and watches my whole live stream. I do like that. Now, I've been here for 2 hours and 18 minutes. And so I'm going to go so you can go eat because I need to eat too. I skipped my lunch, and so I'm going to have like a lunker. I think I'm having a lunker between lunch and supper maybe. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see you later. Yeah, I'll be reading maybe some Bible phrases later on. Again, we'll start with Judges chapter 9 because we're reading a storybook now. We've turned the Bible into a storybook, and I think that's pretty cool that we've got Bible storybook Bible now. And AI probably helped with that. I think that's great that AI helped turn the Bible into an actual story that we can understand. And we're learning that it's repetitive, and there's a lot of the same war that takes place in the Bible over and over and over again. So come back after about an hour. Okay, well, around 4 o'clock or 4:20. Should I come back at 4 o'clock or 4:20? I'm wondering. At 4 o'clock will work for 4:20, I think. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye. And subscribe and share this with your friends. That's why I'm so wise. Okay. But I'm not wise. I have a low IQ. I've been told that I have a low IQ and I don't know anything. I really don't. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. Okay. Bye, Italy. You're shaped like a boot. Italy is shaped like a boot. If we go and we look on Google Earth, Italy is shaped like a boot. We can find shapes in all of the planet Earth of everything. Everything exists. The whole alphabet, words. I'm sure we can find words on the Google Earth. It's like 8:54 over in Italy. Okay. Alrighty. Journey's got digital art. And you know what? I am so sad for the people who are doing digital art because the banks are probably going to foreclose on them. I don't know what my time is 2:54 right now. It's 2:54 in the afternoon. EST time. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of sad my own self a lot of the times too. And so I have to do some things to try to make myself feel better. And live streaming kind of helps it sometimes. Doing things kind of helps make me feel better, even though I don't have an audience that I used to have, or I don't make money that I used to get. Um, so, all right. Well, we'll see you later. Bye bye.